What if one day FIFA announced that the World Cup would no longer rotate between continents and instead the United States would host it forever? What would you think? Just hearing that idea is enough to spark a heated debate, isn't it? It's only a hypothetical question, but it's already dividing the global soccer community into two very different camps. Many Europeans love the idea, while other groups are pushing back just as fiercely. So what's really behind this story? The 2026 World Cup, the tournament the entire world is following day by day, is currently being hosted across 3 North American countries: the United States, Mexico, and Canada. It's the first time in World Cup history that 3 nations have co-hosted the tournament, and the scale of it is simply unprecedented. This year's tournament has expanded to 48 teams instead of the traditional 32. A total of 16 host cities are spread across all 3 countries, featuring a lineup of massive stadiums. Some of them seat more than 80,000 fans, including MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, the venue set to host the upcoming final. From a financial standpoint, this is already being viewed as the highest-grossing World Cup in FIFA history, driven by America's enormous consumer market, its extensive broadcast network, and the incredible commercial appeal it offers to global sponsors. But if you look back at history, you'll notice that FIFA has always leaned toward rotating the World Cup between continents. The whole idea behind that system is to make sure the tournament belongs to the entire world, not just one region. Europe, Asia, Africa, South America, and North America all get the chance to experience the excitement of the World Cup right at home. The United States previously hosted the 1994 World Cup, a tournament widely considered a massive success both organizationally and commercially, even though soccer wasn't yet America's national obsession like football or basketball at the time. And now, with the 2026 tournament in full swing, people are talking more than ever about why the United States is such an attractive host in FIFA's eyes. World-class infrastructure, enormous stadiums already built for the NFL, unmatched financial resources, and a massive fan market that's being tapped right before our eyes. All of it has led many people to ask one simple question: should the United States host the World Cup more often instead of sticking to the traditional rotation? And that's exactly where the debate we're about to break down begins. Among those who support the idea, one opinion has been gaining more and more traction. Surprisingly, it's many of the fans from Europe, the continent long considered the birthplace of soccer, who have been the most impressed by experiencing a World Cup done the American way. Why is that? According to many voices in the international soccer community, Europe's stadiums may be rich in history, but many of them were built decades ago. The surrounding infrastructure, parking, public transportation, and fan zones are not always as modern or as seamlessly connected as they could be. In the United States, it's a completely different experience. Massive stadiums, comfortable seating, giant LED screens everywhere, and crystal clear surround sound make it feel less like you're simply watching a match and more like you're part of a world-class live production. Then there's the overall fan experience. From buying tickets and getting through security to the food and drinks inside the stadium, everything is carefully designed and professionally managed. That's a level of event organization Americans have perfected through leagues like the NFL and the NBA. Some fans even argue that this is one area where many European countries, despite their deep soccer tradition, still have room to catch up. And then there's the atmosphere. This may be what surprises people the most: high-energy music before kickoff, crowd engagement, fireworks, synchronized lighting after every goal. It all creates an electric atmosphere with a style that's uniquely American, something many fans say they've never experienced at a World Cup before. Because of experiences like these, support for the idea has continued to grow. Some believe that if the United States hosted the World Cup more often, fans from all over the world, including Europe, would get to enjoy a level of event organization that very few countries have the resources to deliver on a consistent basis. Sounds pretty convincing, doesn't it? But hold on. The other side of the debate is just as passionate, and that's what we're about to get into next. But hold on, not everyone agrees with this idea, guys. Many fans believe the World Cup should never belong to just one country forever. They argue that the true soul of the tournament comes from the cultural diversity of each host nation, from the street festival atmosphere of Brazil 2014 to the unique blend of Middle Eastern culture at Qatar 2022. There is also the issue of fairness. If the United States hosted the tournament permanently, other continents would lose their opportunity to bring the World Cup home. And then there's the time zone problem. Fans in Europe and Asia would often have to stay up late into the night just to watch the matches, and that's definitely not an ideal experience. A traveler from Italy shared, "Before coming to the United States, I never thought I would be that impressed. To me, soccer has always been connected to the small streets of Rome, where the whole neighborhood gathers outside a local bar, drinking coffee and shouting with excitement every time our team scores. I thought soccer in America was probably just a secondary sport. How could it ever compare to the atmosphere back home? But then, the first time I stepped inside the stadium, I had to stop for a few seconds. Overwhelming." That was the only word I could think of at that moment. The stadium was so massive that I couldn't even see where it ended. LED lights lit up the entire sky, and the powerful music blasting from every direction before kickoff made my heart race along with the rhythm. When the team walked onto the field, fireworks exploded above, tens of thousands of fans screamed together, car horns, drums, and chants echoed throughout the stands. It was an electric atmosphere, unlike anything I had ever experienced. Even at the biggest matches back home, I kept asking myself, how did they manage to turn a soccer match into such a spectacular show? Throughout the entire game, I was completely drawn into that energy. I cheered alongside strangers sitting next to me, took photos with fans from all over the world, and truly felt the professionalism behind every detail, from security and seating arrangements to the food inside the stadium. I remember thinking, if every World Cup was invested in on this scale, maybe the fan experience would always be at the highest level. But when the match ended and I walked out of the stadium, surrounded by crowds of people, I suddenly felt a little empty. I missed that small bar in Rome. I missed the laughter of the owner. I missed the feeling of closeness when an entire neighborhood celebrated together on narrow streets without needing a giant stage or complicated light shows. I realized something. The spectacle in America truly creates an incredible sense of wonder, but what has always made the World Cup special to me is the simple, intimate feeling of each culture that I've been lucky enough to experience. I still don't know exactly how I feel. One part of me wants to experience this kind of grandeur many more times. But another part of me worries, if every World Cup looked like this, would we be losing something unique about each host country's identity? That was the perspective of this Italian fan. And as you can see, even within a single story, the emotions are already pulling in two completely different directions. He was amazed, but at the same time, he felt a sense of nostalgia and loss. And this is exactly what is happening across social media right now, as countless international fans share their own personal reactions and experiences. I never thought I'd say this, but I hope the next World Cup is in America again. Everything was so easy and convenient. People warned us it would be too commercial. Instead, it felt like one giant festival spread across the whole country. The freedom to explore real American cities between matches made this World Cup unforgettable. I loved that every host city had its own personality. It felt like visiting several countries in one tournament. I honestly expected this World Cup to feel too commercial, but I couldn't have been more wrong. We had the freedom to explore real cities, meet local people, and enjoy everything America had to offer. It felt like an incredible vacation built around football. I'd love to see the next World Cup here again. I've followed the World Cup for years, and this was easily my favorite experience. Every host city had something unique to offer, and every day felt like a new adventure. Football brought us here, but America gave us memories we'll never forget. Please bring the World Cup back. Before arriving, I wasn't sure what to expect. After spending a few weeks here, I completely understand why so many fans loved it. Amazing stadiums, great atmosphere, welcoming people, and endless places to explore. If FIFA chooses America again, I'll definitely be back. The best part wasn't only the football. It was being able to travel between incredible cities, discover different cultures, and enjoy so many attractions outside the matches. This tournament felt much bigger than just sport. I'd happily return for another World Cup in the US. I came expecting an unforgettable football tournament, but I left with an unforgettable travel experience. Every city felt different. Every day offered something new, and the entire trip exceeded my expectations. I truly hope America hosts another World Cup soon. I've attended tournaments in different countries, but this one stands out. The combination of world-class stadiums, huge cities, entertainment, and the freedom to explore made every match day special. I never imagined I'd say this, but I'd love another World Cup in America. What amazed me most was how every host city had its own personality. One week you're exploring beaches, the next you're walking through skyscrapers or historic neighborhoods. It felt like several vacations combined into one incredible football tournament. The media made me think this would be all about sponsors and big brands. Instead, I experienced friendly locals, vibrant cities, amazing food, and unforgettable football. This World Cup completely changed my opinion, and I'd be thrilled if the next one was hosted here too. Looking back, I realized my favorite memories weren't only the matches. They were the road trips, the conversations with local people, the incredible cities, and the atmosphere everywhere we went. America made this World Cup feel like a once-in-a-lifetime adventure. This was the first World Cup where I didn't want the tournament to end. Every few days there was another city to discover, another amazing experience waiting after the final whistle. Football brought us together, but America made us want to stay longer. I sincerely hope FIFA brings the World Cup back here again. Honestly, after experiencing this World Cup, I'd be happy if the next one was in the US too. This tournament set a new standard. I'd love to see another World Cup hosted in America. I came for the matches. I left wanting to explore even more of the United States. America proved that a World Cup can be both massive and incredibly welcoming. The football was incredible, but the memories I made outside the stadium were just as special. Does the American style of energy and spectacle truly represent what the World Cup needs, or is it the diversity of cultures around the world that gives this tournament its true soul? The answer is probably still up for debate, but what do you think? Should the World Cup stay in the United States forever, or should it continue rotating around the globe? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you next time.